We are also learning more about the gunman in Minneapolis. Police officials, say that Robin Westman, a biological male born as Robert Westman, was filled with hate and admired serial killers. The 23-year-old also expressed anti-Catholic and anti-Semitic thoughts in a manifesto. Westman died at the scene of a self-inflicted gunshot wound. For more, we turn to Dr. Camille Gibson. She is a professor in the College of Juvenile Justice at Prairie View A&M, and she has also served as the executive director of the Texas Juvenile Crime Prevention Center for 5 years. Dr. Gibson, thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Colin, for having me.
First of all, when we look at this horrific case and what we know of this individual so far, from what you have seen, were there signs you believe that officials, the teachers or parents should have seen that we've missed?
Hindsight, as they say, is 2020. It's not uncommon for people to observe unusual behaviors, but we don't want to let our minds get there that it could become something this horrific. But with each of these cases, the lesson for us is to pay attention, to be vigilant, and to express concern to law enforcement.
It's a difficult one, Doctor, isn't it? Because, and apologies for cutting across you, but what you said at the beginning, that hindsight is everything. It's easy for us now when we have access to this individual's diaries and we can see his mental state very clearly there on the paper from what he was writing. We see the videos that he released just before this horrific crime. But parents will be wondering, how far should we go? Should we be checking our child's diary? Should we be looking at their browser search history if we maybe have concerns that they too are troubled in some way?
It's interesting because this person is 23. So typically, we're talking about an adult. But if we see things that are concerning, if the person is expressing thoughts about persecution and difficulty and anything violent, and then you add to it access to guns where the person could actually do something, then it's important to say something to law enforcement if we think it's at that level, or to get mental health intervention. So it's a tough call. And, in many cases, we can't blame folks for not having that clear 2020 hindsight. But if you have a combination of someone who's upset, having interpersonal difficulties, feeling persecuted, there's some history of mental illness, maybe not an official diagnosis, but we know something is not right, and then access to weapons, that's not a good combination. And so it's important to seek assistance in those cases. And yes, these sorts of things are difficult to predict. A number of folks have challenges, but it doesn't wind up this way.
And you mentioned during one of your answers there as well that sometimes it can be difficult to get the help that people need, engaging with the juvenile system or mental health charities or facilities. So if a parent does have a gut concern that their child could be pained in some way or suffering, going through something, and they've tried talking to them, maybe that hasn't worked, how far should they push and try and get the help from officials?
Law enforcement in many parts of the country have been helpful in connecting people to resources, including mental health resources. When I worked as a therapist, it wasn't uncommon for parents to call the police because they didn't know who else to turn to. And police were able to contact them with community mental health resources. So if you have trouble accessing mental health, law enforcement tends to be very helpful in assisting people to make those connections. And I know it's hard to call law enforcement, but they don't automatically arrest. They do help families to make connection with resources at times.
That's so important, that message of hope and of strength and community and talking about it. So important. So Dr. Camille Gibson, we thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Paul.